Okay, I've got a quote. When someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside of themselves for approval. Very fitting for what we've just discussed. Epictetus.
I was going to say, yeah, that's definitely Epictetus. Yeah. The person that does that does a lot of inner work and daily rituals. And it fits into also like Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It fits into that as well. But when someone's done that amount of work on themselves, they don't need validation from anyone else. They're like a lone wolf. It's a great place to be when you get to that point, because really it's not that you don't care what other people think. It's not that. You just have that awareness that everything, other people, their thoughts, their opinions, everything else is outside of your control. That's it. And you focus on things that are inside of your control.
Yeah, it's how many fucks do you want to give?
Exactly.
So when people say to me, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks, I think, well, number one, if that's true, you're going to have a very lonely existence. Number two, you're lying.
Yeah.
If you didn't care what anyone thinks, what car are you driving? Oh, Mercedes. Why not a Fiat Punto?
Yeah, that's what I meant with that. Like you can care, but it's what attachment you
give to it. Correct. Like I don't care if someone leaves me a shitty message on TikTok anymore. I'm almost numb to it. If my partner said to me, "You're not showing up for me, you're not being present with me, I feel detached from you," I absolutely care. So therefore, I'm going to give a fuck to that. But you've only got so many fucks throughout the course of the day.
Yeah.
There's a great TED talk on this. It talks about the fuck budget. You know, you don't want to be in a deficit, right? You've only got X amount to give. So am I really going to give it and give away my energy to something that doesn't matter, to a faceless user and faceless loser on TikTok? Or am I actually going to channel my energy towards something that I do care about and someone whose opinion that I value? That's the difference.
Yeah. This actually came up on a coaching call yesterday with a client. And when we went through it, you know, I basically just explained that it's just text on a screen. It's literally just text on a screen. So very similar. It was a TikTok thing, but it was more on LinkedIn. Nothing against her, anything like that. Nothing against my client. It was more around what she'd read on someone else's post and then what was in the comment section. And what people were saying was it was all to do with ridiculing the 9 to 5 and all this. And she used to do that, but she's outgrown it now. But yeah, what we were talking about was how you're letting that thought in and manifest inside you, and then take control, and then it hit the guilt and shame cycle. So that was the trigger, and then this guilt and shame cycle kicked in because then she started to compare, but then also realized, well, you know, I'm not posting as much on LinkedIn and I could be doing more, and this person's really ahead of me and blah 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 blah. So then this guilt and shame cycle kicked in. It was quite interesting. It was consuming her mind. So then it was the whole, so what's a more healthy way to look at this? So went down that questioning.
The framing that I've got to that is, why not celebrate the person that's ahead of you?
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, that's what it came out as.
Because, you know, they probably are ahead of you for a reason. Yeah, they're probably ahead of you for a reason, because they probably are doing more. And it's never been easier to win, because so many people give up now in everything. Remember, I saw a speech by Dana White from the UFC, and he said, if you're a fucking savage now and for the next 10 years, you can absolutely clean up, because so many people aren't, you know, and so many people just want it without having to put the work in. And there was a quote by Bruce Lee, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's not enough to know, you must apply. But most people follow in nowadays, to know is not enough, you must try. And try and pay your mortgage. You don't try and pay your mortgage, do you?
Pay it.
You pay your fucking mortgage. Why? Because the bank's going to take your house otherwise.
I'm going to type my card details in. I'm trying to
I'm
do
trying,
it, but
I can't. Fuck me. So you don't try to make your bed. You make your bed or you don't make your bed. You don't try to go to the gym. You do it or you don't. And when people refer to time management, you can't manage time.
No, you manage yourself and priorities.
That's it. You have your priorities and you put focus on it. You can't manage it. You can't stop something. You can't get rid of it.
No.
Right? You can't put it on a performance review.
Yeah.
It's ticking always and it waits for nobody.
Yeah.
So rather than looking at how can I possibly maximize my time more, what do you actually give a shit about? Honestly, what really matters? I said to a client last week, I said, what are your goals? He's like, honestly, I think he was on 5 flights last week.
Jeez.
And he covers Africa and Europe as his patch. You know, some people have like Leeds or Manchester or north of England.
Yeah.
His is just Europe and Africa.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, love working with this guy. And I said, maybe the goal could be to do less this week. He said, that sounds like a great goal because he's fucking exhausted. And that's his reality. So it's also okay to say my priority this week is rest.
Yeah.
My priority this week is not to go out and get after it and kill it and whatever.
But a lot of people will feel guilt when they prioritize themselves or prioritize rest. The guilt will kick in.
Because that comes from the judgment.
Yeah.
If you lose judgment, like we've said many times before, but if you're new to the podcast, those thoughts come from judgment. Instead, be more curious. I'm wondering what I could do today to improve my health. I'm wondering what my body's telling me today. And you'll know the difference between being exhausted and being lazy. There's a huge difference.
Massive difference. Yeah.
So if it is a case of I've just been on a 12-hour flight, I'm landing in a time zone that's now 5 hours behind. I don't know what fucking day of the week it is, quite frankly. Okay. Doesn't mean we do nothing all day. That's probably going to make you feel worse. But the rest that I'm referring to doesn't mean laying in bed. The rest might be, go out for a 4 or 5K steps, should I say, 4,000 to 5,000 step walk.
Yeah.
Just go for a walk.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
So, can you drink water? Yeah, I can do that. Great. Could you maybe do some stretching? Yeah, I can do that. Awesome.
It was like, what can you do?
Correct. Can you eat healthily? Yeah, sure. Awesome. So,
just on that quote, just quickly though, because obviously it's very stoic. It's from Epictetus, but also what he's saying is, don't let anything external knee jerk you around, which is what majority of people do. So a lot of people are just being knee jerked. They're puppets, so they don't have the awareness. Most people just on autopilot, unfortunately. So how they're feeling can be very much dictated by what is going on externally, i.e. the weather, what Keir Starmer's doing, politics in Britain, the news, etc., social media, Netflix. It's all dictated by that. So they don't know what this is happening. So what Epictetus is saying as well is those that are grounded, they don't let anything external dictate their behavior. So they hold their values and their morals, and they've got them firmed in. They're locked in there. So when something happens externally, yes, of course, they can still get upset about it and get emotional about it, but they're not going to attach onto it for too long and let it affect their inner peace or the things that they need to get done on that day.
Yes. Awesome.
Love it.
So wrap up there, guys, and we'll see you next time.